to the latest episode of Rich and Wibo present a local artist show. Today's guest hails from Waterbury, Connecticut. He received his master's in counseling from the University of Bridgeport. He is also a graduate of Western Connecticut State University with a Bachelor of Arts in social work. His course of study included many classes in social work, counseling, education, and higher education. In his spare time, whenever he has that, he also enjoys volunteering, theater, arts, exercising, and traveling. He is also a mentor to many individuals in his community and a vibrant educator of diversity-related issues, theater, and career building. What doesn't this guy do?
I know.
He also enjoys spending time with his dog, Murphy. Anyway, please welcome the Renaissance man himself. First time I ever met him was when he was promoting his book. Now he's about to promote everything that he has done up until now. Mr. Shelby C. Davis. Welcome.
Hey guys, thank you, Rich. Thank you, Wibo. How you guys doing tonight?
Well, good, man. Good. You know, they say we're talking for busy. Busy is good.
Yeah, busy is good.
Busy is good.
Yeah.
So happy to be here.
I was going to say, if busy is good, you were probably the happiest person alive because
yes.
When do you take a break?
You gotta put it in the calendar. You gotta have this thing right here. You gotta walk around with it and put time for a break, time for mental health day.
I got mine.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm buying mine tomorrow, I promise.
Get yours, Rich. No order.
Shelby, let's start with your work in social work, counseling, education, and higher education, because your specialties include diversity training, team builder trainer, a counselor, and a mental health professional. How did you get started doing that?
Well, right now I work in a high school. So
Yeah.
I work with our future, our youth, and I help them succeed. Whatever it takes for them to get the grades that they need to go on and achieve any goal that they put themselves out there for. That's what I'm there for. I'm a mentor. I'm going to help you career build, college plan, whatever your goals are. If you're with me and we're working together, I'm going to help you.
Did you know you wanted to be this at an early age?
No, I think at first I wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't like how regiment teaching was. You're teaching to a certain topic. So I figured the counseling feels more of a broader aspect, and I can work with that.
Very good. So how long have you been a teacher? How many years?
I've been working in the school system as a counselor. This is my 7th school year.
Wow.
Yes, time flies. Wow. Slow down.
All right, well, there's so much to go over, so I want to talk about that, but I also want to start with something called the lemonade principle. What is that?
The lemonade principle is simply what it is. It's taking the lemons and turning it into lemonade. Absolutely. We have to always start looking at the sugary side, the sweeter side of things, and not always looking at the lemons. When you get a lemon, you're like, ooh, I don't want a lemon. But then once you cut it up and you squeeze it and you put it in your juice, and you're like, wow, this actually is pretty good. So it's turning the sour into the sweet.
Very good. Now, what would you do if somebody came to you? Did you counsel people, right?
Yep, I work with teens right now. Yep.
So somebody who's depressed and they're not really sure what they want to do with their life, what kind of advice would you give them?
For something like that, we do get teens who walk in every day into my office and they're like, well, I know I want to go to college, but I don't know what to do. And I will say, it's okay. Hey, you have time to explore, to research, and really think about some of the ideas that you have, and let's work them out. Let's make a plan. There's no straight plan. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay not to know right now. Don't stress yourself out.
I think I've heard this so many times, and I believe it because it's happened to me. The only way you can really succeed is by failing. Just Michael Jordan has a great quote, like, I missed 80 of the game-winning shots. I missed 12 rebounds. I did this. I failed over and over and over again. And because I failed, that's why I succeed. I think that people think that, all right, I'm 18, I'm an adult, I have to be a success immediately. There's so many people I know that go to college with one thing, and 4 to 8 years later, they're completely different with the way they think, the way they look at life, and what they want to do with their life. So, yeah, I see a lot of younger kids who are too eager to get their life started, and they're so depressed because it's not starting exactly how they want it to start. So, I think that's
okay. Your path is going to be windy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, as a life coach, is that a little bit different than being a counselor?
It's very similar. I think in the counseling, you're listening more, whereas in the life coach, you're giving your more opinions and more, more criticism as to things that you should try, versus in counseling, you're really listening and trying to just take what they're saying and give it back to them in a more directive, guiding way.
Do you only counsel your students, or do you counsel outside of school?
Nope, I just work with students right now, but I think I'm a counselor to everybody I talk to. We all need a friend to talk to and listen to and help. May not be a counseling, we're in the counseling badge, but you're a friend. You're providing that help to them if they need it.
Exactly. Now, I was going through your website, checking out, and you have so many great quotes that you live by. I'm going to go through some of them. Trust your intuition and success will follow. I love that. Think it and you will achieve it. That, I can give you an example of that. When I graduated high school, I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and I always said, I want to be on 106.9 WCCC. I want to be on 106.9 WCCC. It took me 3 years, but I was the overnight guy on 106.9 WCCC. So I had that vision. I wanted to do it. I was motivated. And so I love that quote. Another one that I like is think it and you will achieve it. If you can dream it, you can do it. And you are only confined by the walls you build yourself. Focus on the goal, not the obstacles. And it takes only one person to change your life, you. So I love these quotes. I'm sure that, I'm already inspired, and the interview just started.
Yeah, I mean, one that just really resonates with me each and every day, and I tell my students is think it and achieve it. You know, I have kids who come in who don't really try, and I'm like, just think about the things you want to do and go out there and try. You have to take a step forward if you really want to achieve some of your goals. If you stay within your box and your confinement, you're never going to get there.
I think too many people put limits and restrictions on themselves because they're afraid of failure, or afraid of what other people think. I personally care less what other people think. I just do, go about my life. And if people want to come along for the ride, that's great. But if you don't like it, just move out of the way. So I've always lived like that, and I'm as happy as can be. This is like, I'm 52 right now. It's probably the happiest I've ever been, because I'm just doing what I want, and I'm having a great time doing it.
Living your best life.
Yeah. Now, years ago, a good friend of yours asked you, why do you want to help others? What was your answer?
I just always had a passion. I've always had a passion to help others. I was always that person you could call, you could reach out to and just vent if you have something going on. I just knew that this is my calling. This is what I like to do. This is what I love to do. This is what I get up each day to do. And I don't mind going to work. I don't mind helping others. I'm always available.
I'm sure there's been a time where somebody needs your motivation and then you're not in a good mood. That could be tough.
Yeah, I try to handle it the best I can. Sometimes I'm human too, and I may need a 2-second breathe, but I will help you if I can, absolutely. But then you also have the person who doesn't take any of your advice and doesn't take any of your wisdom and any of your tips, and that's okay too. I'm gonna give you my opinion, and you take it with you as you feel necessary.
Exactly. You have to want it to accept it. You can't just say, well, yeah, okay, whatever you say, Shelby, whatever, and then you're basically just going to blow it off, and they're never going to change. I mean, like you said, some people will be like that. Other people who are open to it, they can progress and move on, which is good. Now, I want to talk about the Learn series. The first book in the series is Everything My Parents Taught Me in 6 Steps. What are the 6 steps?
Oh my God. So I actually, let's see, it's a good number. It's been a while now because I've been focusing on Meet Wyatt Brown. That just came out last Monday. So thank you. So the 6 steps: be educated, be kind, and rewind. That's important because we all have to take a moment to, of course, be kind to each other. And we also have to take the time to rewind and slow down. Stay motivated, which is very important. We all have to stay motivated. I think there was one about enjoying the best things in your life. Yeah, that's most of them there.
So it sounds like you had very, very encouraging parents that let you be you and let you push you along on the path that you were going to be on, that they were really supportive of you.
Yeah, they're very motivated. They still motivate me each and every day, and they're very proud of the work that I've done. So I'm very pleased and very grateful and blessed for the parents that I have.
Now, you just mentioned it, and I wanted to talk about that. So it came out, you said the other day. Yeah. Meet Wyatt Brown. What is that?
So Wyatt Brown is a 2nd grader who was based on one of my really good friends' stepchild. And he is a 2nd grader. It's kind of an homage to 90s cartoons and the way that the book is illustrated. And Wyatt is beginning his first day back at school after summer break, and he doesn't want to go. So we learn the importance of going to school, and we get to know who Wyatt is. And it's the first book of an adventure series of books. So this is number 1.
What were your favorite cartoons in the 90s?
Bobby's World. So I instantly thought of Bobby's World when I started to write this book and look for an illustrator. And I said, I want him to look a little bit like 90s cartoons.
I grew up in the 70s, so I loved all the 70s cartoons, like McGill, Gorilla, Hong Kong Phooey, Super Friends. So those, you've done so many different things. So you wrote the books. You're going to have, that's the first in a series. You already have it planned out what they're going to be, what the next book's going to be.
Well, to give you an idea, Wyatt, the real Wyatt, just had a baby brother born. Okay. So maybe something with dealing with a new, because being the youngest child and then having a newborn come, kids dealing with that.
Very good. And where can people find these books?
On Amazon under Shelby Davis, or on my website, shelbycdavis.com.
Are they self-published, or do you have a publisher?
Yep, they're self-published through Amazon.
I love that. My book is self-published too. I love the fact that we can self-publish a book now, and it looks just as, I mean, it is a real book, but it looks just as professional as say a Stephen King or a Dan Brown or a Greg Iles. Yep. And you find, so I think this is like the best time for people who want to put out their thoughts, be creative, and more people can read it instead of the 70s and 80s where trying to find a publisher, nobody wants to publish it because you're not a big name. So I love this time with technology, at least for authors.
It's the best thing.
Yeah. Now you're also you have a love of theater that began at a very early age.
Yeah, I started doing theater in 1998. I had something didn't think I would ever enjoy. I got on stage because I was asked by a teacher to help in the school play, and I haven't stopped loving it since then. I've been in hundreds of plays. I've directed shows, I've choreographed shows, stage managed shows, produced shows.
Yeah.
And most recently, I did some lights for the first time ever.
Now, where were some of these shows? What theaters?
Warner Theater. I've done a couple of shows there. I've done shows in Thomaston at Landmark Community Theater.
Oh, that place, yeah.
Outdoors in Danbury at Richter Park, the Connecticut Theater Company in New Britain. So all over.
I've seen a couple of your shows there.
Yes, you have.
Very good. Very good. Very professional.
Thank you.
I was on your website, and from what I saw, I know you did Fences, Rent, and there was a couple other ones that I saw in there. What was the biggest role that you had?
Probably Fences. Fences was the biggest role I ever had. I played Troy Maxon, which is the son. He is pretty much the main storyline in the show. So that was the biggest role I ever had.
Was it hard for you to memorize lines?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I carried that script with me everywhere I go. I became obsessed with it because there were so many lines, and I don't remember any of the lines. Was that 3 years later? I don't remember anything from this show. But I do watch the movie from time to time, and he'll start talking and be like, oh, it's all coming back to me now.
Did you ever have a moment on stage where you completely went blank?
No, but I have some funny stories. I was in Fences, and right before I came on for a scene, the heel of my shoe detached. So it was flappy. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go on. What am I going to do? So I literally walk on the stage and I'm dragging my foot. And I stopped in one spot and I didn't do any movement. I just delivered all my lines from there. And the gentleman who was playing my father was looking at me like, why are you not moving? So as soon as I got off stage, I ran to the costume shop to get me a new shoe.
I've spoken to several actors I had on this show, and a couple of them said that did happen to them where they froze on stage. And luckily, the other actor said, weren't you going to get me a cup of coffee? Oh, yes. And then that sort of put them back into the scene of where they were going to be. Because I've done a couple smaller plays and little low budget movies where luckily with that was you can stop. It's not live. But with the plays, it was live. And I'm just like, I'm gonna mess up. Like I'm trying not to think. I just have to completely clear my mind. Because if I keep thinking I'm going to mess up, that's where I freeze. But I've been lucky, and I didn't have any really large parts in plays, but still, so I just love the being on stage and the instant audience reaction. It's so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to talk about this because on your website I found this, and I want to go over some of these because I printed it up because I think it's very important. How theater is very entertaining, but it's also very important. I'm going to go over some of the facts that you wrote or that you have in here. Students involved in drama performance, coursework, or experience outscored non-art students on the 2005 SAT by an average of 65 points in the verbal component and 34 points in the math component. So people think that, oh, you're just wasting your time wanting to do this or wanting to do that. It's like it all comes together. Like
I had students tell me that they're like, Mister, if I was not in this play or part of theater, I probably would be dead or in jail or involved doing drugs or something like that, like doing things they're not supposed to be doing. So these children turn to the theater as a therapy.
Yeah.
It's a way to get them in a safe environment, use the talents that they have, and just be someone else for a couple hours a day.
There are also some drama activities to improve reading comprehension and both verbal and nonverbal communication skills. So it helps people, I think, first of all, say if you're severely shy, it helps you good. Because a friend of mine, her daughter, she was severely shy. Now she actually acts a lot at the Landmark in Thompson. Last one she was in was the Miracle Worker before COVID. But she loves it. Now she's the complete opposite. She's an extrovert. She loves mentoring some of the younger kids. And so that really, being in theater really helped her come out of her shell and become who she is.
Yep, absolutely. I agree.
This drama helps to improve school attendance and reduce high school dropout rates.
Mm-hmm.
And then a 2005 Harris poll revealed that 93% of the public believes that arts, including theater, are vital to a well-rounded education.
Right. I mean, going back to the part about attendance, I direct high school theater. And I also believe that, you have to be in school in order to come into rehearsal. If you don't go to school, you can't go to rehearsal. And these kids love theater so much, they're going to be in school each and every day. They're going to make sure that their grades are up so that they can be a part of the play. Just like being part of a sports team. You have to have a good academics and good attendance if you want to be on the baseball or basketball team. So absolutely.
Great. So I know that probably because of COVID, they weren't doing any live shows or anything. Do you have anything planned coming up for maybe next year already?
Actually, funny you said, because I run a youth theater organization here in the greater Waterbury area, and we are now planning for our fall season to open with 3 shows. So we're working on that. I'm working with some directors to get things back going. And Broadway announced today that they will reopen in September. So we are ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And for people wondering what it is, it's called the City Youth Theater. It's in Waterbury.
Yes, absolutely.
What shows have you done there? Do you own this?
Yeah, so we actually are an organization for the youth in the greater Waterbury area. We actually opened last January. COVID hit. In March we were closed.
Oh man.
Yeah, so we were in rehearsal for our first production of Clue.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to see that.
We were getting ready for that, so we hope to get things back on track very soon.
Don't little fellow me, you fleshy, funny Frankenstein head.
I'm gonna rip all that hair off your head and make you eat it.
I'll kill you. Yeah.
You win.
Beer, please. Oh no, I'd say that was a good visit.
It's because we're awesome.
Back very soon.
Now, if people want to become involved in this theater and become an act in it, how can they reach you, or where can they?
So they can go to my website, Shelby C. Davis, or they can go to thecyt.com.
CYT.com, Connecticut
Yep.
Theater. All right.
Yep.
And what is YOLO?
YOLO, if you haven't heard it yet, you only live once.
Love that.
The kids say it. It's a motto. If it's safe, go ahead and do it. If you want to try hiking, you never hiking before, YOLO, go hike.
I got to tell you a funny story about that.
Yeah.
I love hiking, and one time I went hiking with about 4 or 5 different people, and there was my friend's cousin is deaf, and she's very, very sheltered, and she was so afraid to go hiking. So we're like, come on, we're going to show you how much fun hiking is. Nothing can go wrong. Well, unfortunately, it was in Barkhamsted, the Indian Council Caves. Somebody said, oh, you don't have to turn back around, go this way. We got so lost, it took the DEP, the state police, and local police to find us. So that one backfired on us. We were trying to get her to show her how much fun hiking could be, but for the most part, yes. Did try, because you know what's funny? The place where I worked before had to pick words that best describes people, and every person that I worked with described me as fearless. And I said I love that because I want to try and experience as many things as I can, because I was talking to somebody else and they said that the problem with kids, and he was being more generic about it, but the problem with some kids today is that they're not curious enough. And I think that that's true in a way, because you have to be curious. You have to see like what's outside of the window instead of just looking out there going, oh, I'm happy with that. Now there's a whole life out there, and there's so many different things, different kinds of music, different kinds of movies, and different kinds of creative outlets like the arts. So.
Absolutely. Going back to the YOLO saying, this past February I went indoor skydiving.
How was that?
And let me tell you, I got in there and I was like, no way, I am not doing this. And there was a little kid in a tube and he was just flying. Like, it was just like nothing. And I look inside the tube and it's a net. There's no like bottom. And I said, no, I cannot do this. Then I thought about the YOLO saying, you have to experience life. So I said, okay, I'll try it. So I went in and I loved it. I was scared at first, but I loved it. And I'll do it.
I did skydiving in Tennessee, and I used to do stand-up comedy. And so on the way down, as I was floating down, I was doing my stand-up act, and so the guy filmed that and said, "Yeah, so it was hilarious." I was called the stand-up skydiver.
Wow.
So to me, like, where'd you do it for inside skydiving?
It was this was in Philadelphia.
Okay.
How
high was it?
I don't even know. It was like this. I got in there. I was in my own zone, and it was over.
Yeah, I know. That's why I love, because the free fall for the first 10 seconds was the best. Then afterwards, just floating down. I love it. I want to go again. I love sky. I have not tried bungee jumping yet, but
it reminded me. Remember, you ever watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka, where he's in the tunnel and he's going up and he's like, I can't come down. I can't come down. That's what it reminded me. And I kept looking up and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get to the top. Mm-hmm.
Remember, you have to burp.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Well, I read somewhere that there are 3 types of people. One, people that make things happen, people that watch what happens, and people that wondered what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know I want to be in the group that make things happen.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I tell my kids all like that. Either you're going to walk with that crowd out there, the cool kids, or you're going to walk in front of the crowd. I had a student talk to me today, and she said that she used to be friends with this group of women, and she said that she had to leave the group because they weren't doing anything for themselves. So now this girl, she left the group, and now she has a job, she has a bank account, and she said they're not doing anything. They're just laying around, just not doing anything. So walk in front of the crowd. Don't walk always with the crowd.
Exactly. And be the leader and let them follow you.
Yep, be the leader of the pack. Isn't that a song? Leader of the pack.
It is. Shangri-La. Good song. Well, it's funny because when I was growing up, I was severely shy. I'm not sure why. I mean, I was so shy that my 8th grade guidance counselor brought me into the office and wanted to know why I wouldn't talk to the kids. Now I won't shut up. I hope this guy got a promotion. I hope he got a raise, because I don't know what he said. The reason I bring that up is because a lot of times I'll give you an example. I was at the Seven Angels Theater in Waterbury, and the Buddy Holly play, and I jumped up on stage and dancing around, and the person I was with, like, how do you do that? Everybody's looking at you. I'm like, I'm just having fun. And on the way out, somebody goes, you're just doing what everybody wishes they had the guts to do. And I said, I'm just having fun. I'm not trying to prove anything, but it's funny because there's a lot of people. She was more worried about people looking at us thinking that I'm a weirdo. And everybody was like, I wish I could get up and do that and have fun like that.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot more people, if they thought like that and didn't worry about, I think as people get older, they usually stop caring what people think all the time. But unfortunately, peer pressure gets to a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And with your age group, I'm sure you deal with that all the time.
Yeah, the kids, they want to be like, they want to be the cool kid. Most of the kids want to be with the cool kids, and then when you step outside the box, you become the weirdo, but you're not. You're actually the one that you need to be outside the box.
Exactly. And then you find out later, after high school's over, you are the cool kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, when I was doing my research on you, I was going through YouTube, and I have a new favorite show, the Shelby Dating Show. I love that.
Oh, that is a 20-year-old classic now. I do have a new YouTube show that I've started, and we're actually on season 3 right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called If Not Now, When, and I host it with my friend Elizabeth Petrachone, who is a life coach herself, and she's also an author, and she also has a play about her that Seven Angels did for a couple of years about her going from fat to not fat.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
But the Shelby Davis show, that was a joke made on a train. Mhm.
Well, I did love your guests. They were hilarious.
Yeah.
So what was funny is like you kept a straight face. Some of the things they came out with, you could tell like, but you just kept it going. They were hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the girl that was looking for a date. I don't know if you probably don't remember this. I just watched it, so it's fresh in my mind.
I don't, but yeah, I think I remember actually. Yeah.
She was like, she kept on saying, "I don't have a boyfriend. I'm looking for somebody," and you just kept on talking. You're like, okay.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I didn't see the new show. I'm gonna check it out, but I just happened to be like typed in your name on YouTube, and that's what popped up. So I watched.
Yeah, if you go to my website, shelbycdavis.com, and I think there is like a YouTube link. You
Okay.
click that. Mhm.
Oh, you got a new show, huh?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Now, what inspires and motivates you? You're great at motivating and inspiring other people, but what motivates Shelby C. Davis?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I have a burning desire just to continue to help and inspire and just do great things.
Yeah.
I want to leave a good legacy.
Well, if you stopped right now, you have a great legacy. So you definitely have done that.
I was thinking about last year this time. It was very quiet. There
Yeah.
was nothing going on. It was just very like, okay, this is weird. And now it's like everything's in overdrive.
Yeah.
The good thing is, like, I mean, you mentioned you write books and do other things, so maybe that gave you a little bit more time to write that next book and get, or think of new ideas. So it gave you a little bit of a downtime where you could relax and just good for mental health.
Yeah, it was a nice break.
Now, I have a question for you. What is extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation? And yeah, what are they?
So intrinsic motivation is if you do something for your own desire, for your own good. Like I do things for my own desire, my own good. Extrinsic motivation is when you do something because you want to receive a reward. Like, for example, when kids do chores and they get $10, they're only doing that. They're only motivated to do the chores because they're going to get paid. They're not doing the chores because they want to have a clean house. So that's the difference between extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. And that was one of the things that I taught when I was teaching at Post University. I taught a class there.
Yeah, now there's four. I have this printed up, so if you don't remember it, I'll go over it. But you have 4 kinds of motivation. One is positive motivation towards the goals. Prepare this presentation and you get a bonus. That's extrinsic, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And prepare this presentation or you're fired. That's extrinsic.
Yeah.
Intrinsic is I really want to prepare this presentation, or I really don't want to prepare this presentation. Right? Is that?
Yeah,
Is that what
that's correct.
Okay, good. Yep. And it says negative motivation away from something. So those are the 4 types of.
Yeah, absolutely. I think not the majority, but a lot of people do things because they're going to get rewarded. They go to work because they're going to get rewarded. You know, I think it's important that you find a job that you have the intrinsic motivation. Like for me, I go to work because I know that when I go there, I have a passion to help kids, and I hope that them graduating is my intrinsic motivation. It's not an extrinsic, but it's because I get gratification from seeing my students pass and be able to go on and do the great things that they're meant to be doing. So find your intrinsic motivation.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because just yesterday I read an article in the paper saying how the rest of the world is looking at us because people are saying, I'll get the vaccine if you give me $100. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
Don't get it because it's going to help keep people safe and alive. Don't get it because I'll do it for $100. So there are unfortunately extrinsic. A lot more people that I see are like that, but there's a lot of great people in there that do it because they want to do it and they want to be motivated. So
Absolutely.
that's why we need more people like you.
I try.
Now, we mentioned last year at this time it was completely dead. It was a ghost town. So like that for me it was great because I found out about Zoom and I'm able to do a couple shows on that. Did you do any kind of Zoom presentations over the last year?
You know what, to be honest, last year was just a very quiet year.
Okay.
I continued to film my new YouTube show. We used to film in a TV studio. TV studio was closed. It's still closed. So we switched to Zoom, and we tried to just reinvent the wheel. How do we film our show from home? If you look at some early episodes of our show from last year, you can see that I had no haircut. So my hair was like this. And then you look at the later episodes when the barbershops open, it was like, okay, we're back on track here. But it was really interesting reinvents in the wheel. I did a lot of just relaxing, hiking, walking, just to keep busy.
What's next, and where can people find you?
Well, they always can find me on shelbycdavis.com. That is the #1 place. If you go to my website, you can subscribe and get my mailings. I do send out a seasonal newsletter. And you can find my Facebook page, Shelby C. Davis, with everything I do each and every day. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to continue to work on promoting Wyatt Brown and getting his message out there. And that's me for now.
Hey, Shelby, what does C stand for?
Christopher, my middle name.
And you said Wyatt Brown is a children's book. Is that correct?
Children's book. Yep. 22 pages, fully illustrated children's book.
I was going to ask you that. Who did the illustrations?
I work with an illustrator over in Pakistan, believe it or not.
Wow.
What did you do? You wrote the story and sent it to him, and then he.
Yeah, I wrote the story, sent it to him. I sent him drawings of things I wanted. He sent me back drafts, back and forth, back and forth.
How'd you find that? How'd you find him?
Online, just searching for illustrators, Google.
What I want to do is with my book, what I want to do is thinking somebody came up with a great idea, and I guess I could find it somewhere where I have another show where I have 30 plus interviews, plus Wibo and I just started this show, the local art show. I want to come out with, have all of our interviews transcribed in book form. Then somebody told me that there's a way to do that, which I know there's pretty much a way to do anything. Just look it up on YouTube or look it up on Google and you'll find something. So
yeah,
that's what I'm looking forward to doing. I want to do audio books. Have any of you made any of your books into audio form?
No, not yet, but definitely something we'll look into in the future.
All right. Well, is there anything we really want to add?
Where's he at? He's there. Shelby there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Hey, Shelby. How long you been living in Waterbury? Was you born in Waterbury?
Yeah, born in Waterbury. I lived in Danbury for a little bit, around the college time, after the college time. And just, I was like, okay, I need somewhere that's closer to home. And I'm actually in the same city I was born.
Yeah.
Gonna get it closer than this.
I know. Yeah, we know each other a long time.
We know each other a long time. We go.
Be my boss, man. You believe that?
Yeah. Yep. Sometimes we think you're my father.
I know.
Yep.
Well, Weibo's another one that he does so much for the community. Doesn't want any kind of recognition. He just does it because he loves to help people. So, it's great meeting people like you, and they're doing things not because they want to be rewarded, but they're more intrinsic. And I love that. And I love everything you've been doing so far. I just met you, I think 2 years now.
Yeah, 2 years. Time flies.
Yeah, I know, very much. And I definitely want everybody to check out his books. They're great. And is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to promote or want to discuss?
No, I would love to stay connected with people. They can always reach out to me anytime just to say hello or need some advice on anything. I'm always here and available.
All right. Well, Shelby, it was great having you on the show.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. It's time to go.
Time to go.
When the new book comes out, I know the last one just came out. When I have you on the show again, when you have something new coming up.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, that wraps up the latest episode of Rich and Wibo Present the Local Artist Show. A huge thanks to our guests, author, actor, diversity trainer, team building trainer, counseling, and the Renaissance man himself, Mr. Shelby C. Davis.
The man.
Thank you, guys. Be well.
I would also like to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in. Enjoy your day, everyone.